Hello, just popping in real quick to tell you about my podcast, Unruly Fashion, brought to you by the Podpire Network. I'm your host, Noella Eze. From the title of the podcast, you can tell that it's unruly. It's not going to be a regular fashion podcast. It's not conventional. It's not normal. It's not what you expect to see, but it's going to be quite the experience. Where can you find it? Well, come hang out with us every Wednesday, wherever you find your podcast. It's going to be great. I could tell you that for free. I mean, that's where all the cool kids are. So unless you're trying to tell me you're not cool, then damn, I don't know what to tell you, son. Yeah, show up. I expect to see you there. Come along. See you later.
The following podcast is a production of the Podpire Network. Find and listen to our podcasts at thepodpirenetwork.com or wherever you enjoy your podcast. The Podpire Network, a family of inspired podcasts.
What's up, good people? Welcome to another episode of your favorite comedy show on all the podcast platforms. It is Hairbrain Schemes.
Hairbrain Schemes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How did you like that intro, man? Because I thought we should do something special because last week we did a rerun. And a very nicely timed rerun too, because we, so if you missed us last week, we missed you too.
Missed you dearly.
Yes.
We thought about you.
We thought about you all day. Let's not lie to these good people.
Nah, girl. No.
Nah, girl.
I
couldn't sleep, girl.
Married, but I thought about you. I thought about you, girl.
Nah, girl. I couldn't sleep, girl.
Thinking about you. I couldn't sleep. Valentine's Day is coming up, and I all I've been doing is thinking about you.
No, by the time this episode airs, it would have been Valentine's Day, maybe a few days ago. So yeah, man. So I don't know.
Which means I would have already taken you out, girl.
Yeah, girl.
Valentine's.
You remember like those old timey, pickup lines that always end in girl. Whatever it is, just ended in girl. I couldn't sleep, girl. I was up all night, girl. it's like, dude, enough already. But yeah, no, we left you with a rerun of the Anna Delvey episode, which was just perfectly timed because on that same Friday, Netflix released their show Inventing Anna.
It just dropped.
Yeah, so it was just perfectly timed. Of course, we put a link to the Netflix show in the show notes for the rerun. So if you were going to check that out, please do. Again, it's like almost guaranteed at this point that if you do a scam successful enough, you will get your very own Netflix, Hulu, or Disney Plus. Right?
Very problematic, but also accurate.
You gotta love it, man. Capitalism will find a way to make a buck on anything, on any story.
God.
If there's interest, if there's enough people talking about it, capitalism will be like, yep, we gotta do a show. We gotta sell tickets to this. They gotta subscribe, like and subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Speaking of which, you gotta like and subscribe to our podcast, man. Come on, girl.
Yeah. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Subscribe to my podcast,
Girl.
Girl. We should get real up close to the mic and be like,
Right.
Hey girl, you should subscribe and like this podcast. Because every time we do this, we think of you.
That's such bad phrasing.
Hey, I didn't say I was smooth.
Phrasing. Like from
Phrasing.
Acha. Yeah. Every time we do this, what do we do? Man. Anyway, it's great. It's great to be back.
I show up and say problematic things. That's what I do.
That is true. For the listeners who don't know how true that is so true. Sibel calls me in the middle of the week and I look at my phone and I see the caller ID and I just go like, oh no, what is about to happen now? Because every word out of Sibel's mouth is problematic. So problematic, man. Like, you guys have no idea You guys have no idea. So problematic. So right now his name is Sibel Problematic Mufti, right? That's
for the record, Bibi picks up every time and laughs his ass off every single time. The phone rings twice before Bibi picks up.
Because I know you don't have any other friends who will answer your calls. I don't want you. That is my good deed for the week every time I answer the phone, man. Yeah, man. Listen, you know what? We were just saying, it's great that we have this huge, this wide range of conversations that go from absolutely nonsensical to stuff that touches on the meaning of life itself, which is just great. You need friends like that. So
yeah, within within the same 10 minutes.
In the same conversation, not even like different conversations. It's just a stream of consciousness going from the completely idiotic to the incredibly meaningful and insightful. So yeah, man, I hate to say it, but I will always answer those calls. Yeah, man. Aww. Anyway, girl.
It does sound like it's a bit of a lottery. Or like, is it going to be insightful or just hilarious and troubling?
I know. Like there are times when we've hung up the phone and I'm just looking at my phone. Like when you called me last week, and you said I looked like the black guy from Reacher, and I was like, "What is wrong with you, Sibel?
You do, no, you do, dude. You do. I stand by this. You take off your cap right now. You keep your glasses on and take a photo. And we put this up on Instagram. I do not care. I'm willing to bring in the masses on
Sibel, all black people don't look the same.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm going to say.
How dare you say that?
Oh, we do look the same. Is that what you're saying? How dare I deny it?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a taste of what I deal with Sibel on a near constant basis, right?
No. Okay, right. Listeners, in this show, this detective comes on, who kind of looks like Bibi.
The only thing he looks like me with or by is his glasses. That's it. That's it.
Round face.
My face is not round. Look at my face. It's not round.
I'm sorry, are you going to go say that it's slightly oval? Like, I don't know what to say to you right now.
My face is long. I have a long face. What is wrong with you?
I seem to have touched a nerve. I'm going to back off right now. Okay.
How dare you?
I apologize.
How dare you?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. On the Reacher show, which is I really do recommend watching. It's a great watch.
It's a great binge.
Bibi recommended it.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's the Reacher guy is kind of like constantly antagonizing the detective,
which is exactly what you do to me.
It's very reminiscent of the dynamic that me and Bibi have, and it's just so funny. I was just watching it and thinking of me and Bibi talking.
Dude, it's not funny. It's not funny.
It's so funny.
It's not funny, but yeah, no, you are definitely problematic. But hey, look, let us at least tell the listeners that they have come here today to hear us talk about Victor Lustig.
Count Victor Lustig.
My name is Count Victor Lustig, right? And this dude, man, if you're talking about schemes, harebrained or otherwise, if you're talking about the quintessential con man of his time and after, this dude,
this guy, this is the guy who Hollywood,
the Mount Rushmore of scammers and schemers. There is no complete Mount Rushmore of that subject that does not prominently feature the bust of Victor Lustig, as far as I'm concerned, man.
Yeah, he's the blueprint.
Yeah, man.
This guy's the blueprint. This guy This guy was charming.
Yeah.
He was smooth.
He was smooth.
Suave.
He was intelligent.
He was multilingual.
He picked his marks with excellent efficiency. He pretty much wrote the Bible on scamming. He wrote the 10 commandments of scamming.
Yeah,
literally. Like we're not even speaking hyperbole. This guy wrote the 10 commandments of scamming. We're going to share that with you in a bit. But yes, we are excited to talk to you about Victor Lustig on this episode. Let us take a bit of a break. Let us try to pretend like we're professional. And we will come back and we will tell you about this dude. Now, the things we want to touch on real quick, just to whet the old appetite there. What we want to talk about is the Eiffel Tower scam, right? All
Big
right.
one.
Mm-hmm. The Romanian bucks scam, big one. Of course, I mentioned the 10 commandments of the con, right? Another interesting one. And then Sibel will regale you with
this dude successfully conned Al Capone.
Al freaking Capone, and he did not get dead.
Thought highly of him at the end of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, you gotta respect game. I mean, that's how much game this dude had. You even looked at Al Capone the wrong way, and you were swimming with the fishes. This dude scammed the Al Capone and lived to tell the tale. It's incredible.
He was in Al Capone's good books afterwards, man. Al Capone thought highly of him.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I hope we've given you enough to keep you on the line, and we will be right back after paying these bills. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
See y'all soon.
Mm-hmm. All right, and we are back. And
hello.
Yes, we had a second to compose ourselves. We did not
talk about a bunch of things.
Good use of that second. We did not make good use of it. We did not achieve any higher levels of professionalism. Instead, we went further down the rabbit hole. So,
big hole.
You're welcome. You're about to experience the after effects of all of that now. So, yeah. Feel free to like and subscribe and give us 5 stars.
Coming back to Count Victor Lustig.
Count Victor Lustig.
Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
Victor Lustig was not born a count.
No, and
That's
he was
himself.
never a count. But
no,
I mean, what does that matter?
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Victor Lustig. Mm-hmm. As far as we know, we're fairly confident he was born in the town of Hostine in Bohemia of Austria-Hungary,
right,
which is modern-day Czech Republic.
Right. But again, nobody knows because nobody can find paperwork or any proof of this dude ever existing, not in the schools in the area, not in the birth records of the area. And it is extremely convenient for him that, not long after this, his birth or his childhood, the Nazis essentially invaded and burnt everything to the ground. So if you're a dude who is trying to be multiple people to multiple people in multiple places, it kind of helps that nobody can track the place of your birth or childhood. So, yeah.
So he used to claim that he was descended from nobility for most of his life, and then later on started claiming that he came from abject poverty.
Right.
But who's to say? We really don't know. It does seem pretty well established that is the town, because that's the one he always talked about.
Well, I mean, that could still be a con, man. That could still be a con. There was one narrative that places his dad as the mayor of the town. But again, who knows? Because you would think that if the mayor had a kid, everyone in that town would maybe know about it. But Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
I mean, it's all that would also feel. I feel like it'd be harder to get rid of those records.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
there was a historian from that town who later on tried to track down records of Victor.
Right.
But they could not.
Right.
So yeah, we really do take. We really don't know for certain much about his childhood at all. In fact, we it's just the fact that he asserted he was from Haustine regularly that we
do know one thing, which is he was born. And then that's about the end of it.
We got that.
We got that one down. Yeah, but anything else?
Down. Yeah. We know that at the age of we also know that he was in Paris studying.
Right.
And that at about the age of 19 he took a break from studying while in Paris and started gambling.
And this gambling was so good.
Fight.
No. So with the gambling though, dude, you got to recognize the game. He got so good with cards that one of these sources that we're citing today, and I believe that one is the SmithsonianMag.com, and it says this dude was so good with cards that the only thing he couldn't do with cards was make them talk. Right? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, so sleight of hand, all that stuff, he was the greatest, right?
And his main target was new money traveling on transatlantic ocean liners.
Right. So think of a scenario, if you will, right? You're in international waters, right? So the laws are a little dicey and vague, right? And you see a bunch of people vacationing, transatlantic travel. Very nice. And these people, usually you're vacationing, your guard is, not as up as it would usually be. You're carefree. Perhaps also you want to impress the lady that you're with or the ladies on board, right? So someone challenges you to a friendly game of something, wager this, and then you say, of course, I will do that. And you lose a ton of money. Very nice.
It's a bunch of places are just like, how long was a transatlantic voyage, right? It was like a week or so,
right,
to go from one side to the other.
Was it now?
So it wasn't very long.
Okay.
It was,
So you do it quickly and get off.
Exactly. You get off, you switch boats.
Right.
So it's very hard to track you down. Whereas if you're in one town or place, so it makes it much easier.
Right.
Fun fact, talking about the ladies, he later on got to be known as, there was the livid one? The Scarred.
The Scarred, yeah, because...
The Scarred, and the reason was that he had received a scar to the left side of his face that became purple in color from a jealous boyfriend of a woman that he had consorted with while in Paris.
Bon, I will challenge you to a fight under the Eiffel Tower at 8:15 tonight. You have besmirched my honor for the last time. I saw you winking, doing the winkies at my lady, and I will not have it. I will not have it.
That is how the French live. That is how the French live.
The winkies. The winkies. You were doing the winkies.
Right. So he got the scar and it became a defining scar. But far from making him grotesque to the ladies, he was very successful with the ladies because it gave him character. So
character.
Yeah.
And he was known for being very charming and
very charming, man.
Fluent in 6 languages.
6 languages. Sibel, how many languages can you even English? I'm barely
manage English.
I mean, we established I didn't go to college, so English even is, a bit of a struggle for me.
I didn't go to college for anything that had to do with writing or language. So yeah.
I see you just give it up on countering that I went to college. You're just like, okay. I mean, if this is your narrative, like, you just let him have it. I will not give you the pleasure of seeing me resist.
I don't. Fine.
Well, I mean, now that it's no longer fun for me, if you're not gonna fight back, it's no longer fun. Ooh, touchy, touchy. Yeah, this podcast is gonna get canceled. But yeah. So we know that he started, his thing with the card things, and then he did the transatlantic thing, and then after some time, it was it was time to move on to bigger things, right?
Yes, sir.
And he did these scams again between the ports of France and New York City, very successfully, very nicely. And yeah, I mean, once you've done that for a few years, you start to set your sights on bigger things. And so in the year 1925,
let's set the scene.
All right.
He comes to Europe, and he sees that Gustav Eiffel, who had built and
Gustav Eiffel.
Yes.
Monsieur Gustave Eiffel, the rightful designer and builder of the one and only Eiffel Tower.
That's right.
Eiffel.
Right.
Had just passed away.
Right.
And they were talking in the news.
There's a lot of rumors.
Maintenance was
right.
Yeah, the maintenance was hot. It was getting expensive.
Right.
And there weren't enough people visiting.
Right.
And there were all these questions about all the costs and expenses and everything about the Eiffel Tower.
Of keeping it going, right.
A light bulb went off in Count Victor Lustig's mind.
Right.
Bibi,
right.
take it away.
So, in 1925, Victor presents himself at a hotel in Paris, and he has a bunch of government letter-headed paper printed, which he then uses to write to all the major steel scrap dealers in the city of Paris. And what he says to them is this: come quickly, there is an opportunity for you if you can make it here on time. So, what do? They set out and they meet him at this hotel. Now, top secret meeting, and then they're like, okay, we're here. What is it? And then he says,
well, you have
Spill the tea.
yeah.
We're here.
We're here.
Spill the tea.
Spill, come on, man. It's been a long journey, come on. And so he says,
you have by now no doubt heard of the increasing inconvenience to the government of the city of Paris to keep the Tower of Eiffel erect and going. We are therefore thinking about perhaps how you say the demolition of the Eiffel Tower, and we are looking to sell for scraps. If you can please make your bids known, we will give the tower to the highest bidder, and you can sell for the finest steel ever of the scraps of the Eiffel Tower.
And that's it.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Brilliant, man.
He also does a few other smart things. He notices that one of the businessmen there is a young man named Poisson.
Monsieur Poisson.
Monsieur Poisson. Poisson, by the way, means fish in French. Which is just fun. And he notices that Poisson is new to the city and is trying to establish himself with his reputation, and therefore is a touch more desperate. So what he does is he approaches Poisson and says, I am an underpaid city official, and I get to choose who wins this contract. So Poisson then effectively gives him a bribe. Now, he gets the bribe, quote unquote, from Poisson. He then gets his full bid for what would have been the entire scrap for the entire Eiffel Tower from Poisson. And goes off to Austria.
Now, isn't that brilliant? Because
brilliant.
How do you tell your side of the story without admitting that you consciously thought you were bribing a government official?
Yes.
So
brilliant.
So what do?
Brilliant.
You keep quiet. And so
you
no matter how
really
to
quiet.
this day, Sibel, nobody knows the exact amount of money that he got conned out of because he would never disclose because he was so embarrassed. Wouldn't you be embarrassed? Wouldn't you be embarrassed? I mean, it's the most idiotic. It's like,
haha, you thought you were going to buy the Eiffel Tower, really, my friend? Ha, wow, the ego on this one. The ego on this one.
You're the one who bought the Eiffel Tower.
Madame, Monsieur, here is my friend, Monsieur Poisson. He is, if you remember, the one who would be gay.
who would...
The Eiffel Tower? Oh, no. Yes.
How is that going for you these days, Monsieur Poisson?
When do you plan to collect?
Will it be gift wrapped and shipped to your house, perhaps, Monsieur Poisson?
I could just imagine the jokes being relentless and savage. Because how do you tell people you fell for this? And that is part of the brilliance, the absolute brilliance of Victor Lustig is he would compromise his marks to the point where they could not tell on him without compromising themselves and putting themselves in trouble too. So, yeah, man. Yeah.
And that was brilliant. So Victor went off to Austria and he watched the news and he waited. One, so he's kind of far away. So if he needs to run, he can run.
Hey.
But as he suspected, Poisson doesn't say anything.
Not a thing.
So what does Victor do? He goes back to Paris.
Back to Paris.
And tries it again. Except this time.
Yeah.
This time, the government notices and Victor has to run off to America.
To America.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he runs off to America and he decides he's going to do a bunch of other scams. And let's start with the counterfeiting scheme that was bad enough to have the concerted effort of the United States government trying to find out who this guy was. It was bad enough that it was threatening. One of the sources says it was as though a rival nation had started printing out counterfeits to destabilize the America. That was how much of an influx of counterfeit money this dude was shoving out into the ecosystem. It was mad, and he was so arrogantly good that he decided he was going to print the most scrutinized currency denomination, the $100 bill. Right? Because the $100 bill was the one that was supposed to have the most sophisticated encryption and they didn't have holograms then, but just the most sophisticated security measures sewn into the money. And he was like,
I can do that. give me 2 days. I do for you. You watch.
Right? And he did it so successfully that his counterfeits were known as the Lustig super bill. The Lustig
super bills, yeah.
It's he got even the respect of the people who were actually supposed to be making the money. They were like, dude, this is good. They were like, this is good, right? Yeah.
It was so good that banks he would just give it at central banks, at different major cities, and as he's depositing it, he would deposit it into banks. He wouldn't try to use it at a store.
No.
So he would hand it over to a bank who would then inspect it.
Yeah.
And would say, this passes. This is a legitimate bill.
Yeah.
And I think the quote you just said was actually what the judge said.
Right.
When he was being sentenced.
Right.
And that was why he was sentenced to Alcatraz, because I think also what he was doing, the judge also said it threatened to destabilize the US dollar and the international economy.
Right.
That was the effect that he was having.
Right.
Now, this also ties into the Romanian box.
The Romanian box.
Right. So
Right.
Bibi, jump in here. So the Romanian boss.
So just before we do that, Sibel. So
please.
He got caught, right? And he spends. He's taken to a Holden prison in New York, and he spends all of 2 weeks or something in there, or 3 weeks, and then he escapes. Oh my god! So he does the thing with the bed sheets. You know, like.
Yo, let's wait. Back up.
All right.
Set the scene.
All right.
Set the scene. They've got Lustig sitting in a cell.
Right.
That is stories above ground.
Stars above ground.
It's in Manhattan. He's sitting.
Lustig, we got you now, my friend. You're never getting out of this one.
Yeah. They've got, there's bars on the windows.
Right.
He is above ground.
Right. So you think, of course, I mean,
before,
he's gotten, like, he's not going anywhere, right? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The day before his trial, this guy makes a rope out of his bed sheets, manages to cut through the bars on the window.
Right.
He rappels himself down the side of the building.
Right.
When people look up, he has had the foresight to keep something in his hand, and he pulls out like
a hanky or a cloth, a thing,
hanky,
right? Yeah,
and he starts cleaning the other windows, and pretending that he's a cleaner.
He's a window cleaner. He's a window washer.
He's a window cleaner.
Right.
He comes down. There's someone ready for him. Jumps in a car, and he's gone. And it takes them a month, to catch him, in Pittsburgh.
Right. So I mean, so yeah, beautiful execution on that one. But yes, again, let's jump, back again in the timeline with the Romanian box. And so what he does is he has this gadget, this huge contraption of a box, and he says it can double whatever money you put into it, right? Using a very mysterious process that utilizes radium. Okay.
Yeah, radium is a element that literally is radioactive. So he was
thank you, Professor.
That.
Yeah. So it has all these gears and pistons and all these things. It looks proper complicated. Meanwhile, all he's doing is he gets people to put their very real American dollars into the box, and then he gives them twice the amount of fake of his fake currency, right? And so again, the thing, one of the things he says is you cannot con someone who isn't greedy. And so honestly, in his case, very true, because who's going to fall for this? Why do you think you're going to get double your money for doing nothing? Right? And so he's able to con a lot of greedy people that way, including a Texas sheriff.
Yeah, but okay, I want to take a second here. Here's one of the most brilliant parts, in my opinion.
Right.
So he says, the Romanian box actually doesn't do anything.
No.
It doesn't do anything.
No.
It makes noises. It makes stuff moving around. Yeah. But what he says is that it takes 5 to 6 hours. So what he would do is he would
He'd stay with you, man.
He would take the person's bill. He would put it in the machine. He would start it, and he'd sit there.
And both of you would just be chatting it up, man.
And they would chat.
And by the end of that time, don't you think you're great friends?
He builds up a rapport.
Yeah.
And and then he pulls out this bill. And if someone doesn't trust you after 5 to 6 hours, where you sat there and showed them, and they feel like they know you.
Right.
Also, I can't imagine the level of acting skill it must take.
Oh man.
To stay in character.
Oh man.
5-6 hours.
Regaling them with stories of adventures in the continent of Europe, telling them about, his counthood or countship or whatever and all that for 5 to 6 hours. You're gonna think, ooh, this dude is a brilliant dude. Right? Yeah. So one of his marks is, and remember how we said
he gets caught.
And remember how he said he picks, his marks carefully. He goes after a Texas sheriff, and
thinking that, like in Europe, a policeman would not want to compromise themselves.
Right, because how does the Texas sheriff? How does a policeman, a sheriff, no less, explain to anyone that he was going to look for, he wanted to double his money with a box. How do you explain that without getting laughed out of town? So again, Victor's thinking was, look, I'm going to con this man. And that's going to be the end of it because he can't tell anyone, right?
He can't be like, hey, I was trying to counterfeit money, but he was wrong because he didn't understand America.
So America's crazy, man. America crazy, man. So what he did, he didn't just do doubling the money like for other clients for this dude. He sells him the box. So he proper implicates himself, right? The sheriff proper implicates himself because it's like, dude, you bought a box that makes counterfeit money thinking that you were going to be rich. How do you explain this to anyone? And so he thought, that was going to be the end of it. But this dude tracks him all the way from Texas to Chicago. He tracks him all the way. He's like, dude, you sold me a fake box. What do you think you're doing, man? I got you. And Victor is just...
He's a Texan, so he'd be like, hey, boy, you sold me this box right here. It don't work. You sold me this box right here. It don't work. Why don't it work?
I bet he just crept up on him and was like,
I bet you never thought you'd see my face again, eh, boy? I'm here now.
And he's like, and of course the Count, cool as ever, is like,
my friend, what are you talking about? Of course it works. Did you press the button the way I asked you to? Did you put it outside in the full moon? Did you do the things that you're supposed to do? Come on, I show you again.
And so he does the thing again, and he cons him again, and the guy thinks he's got the real legit goons again.
Yeah, he convinces the sheriff that he made a user error and that it works. But he says to him, to compensate you for the problem of it not working properly, here's a ton of money. And he hands him a ton of counterfeit.
A fake cash.
Hey, my friend, you know what they say about computer systems? 90% of the time, it's always human error. Come on, the computer works just fine. But because I know you're new to this and because I want the, how you say friendship,
customer satisfaction,
I give you $20,000 in crisp banknotes. Come on, what you say?
And the dude's like, all right, partner, right? And he gets away with it. Now, the thing that gets him caught, the thing that gets him on the radar of people is the most idiotic thing. Now, we told you that, when he was in Paris, about the age of 19, he started gambling. And so we think, and again, this is speculation, that this gambling is what drove him to do the most stupid thing ever. So one time he went to someone's house for a business meeting, and when the guy went off to the bathroom or something, he crept upstairs in that fellow's house and stole $16,000, right? And of course that person screamed to the police immediately. And that's what first gets him really on the radar of the police as this is the person we're looking for, because this whole time they knew they were looking for a counterfeiter. They knew that, this dude was up to no good and he was doing this and that, but they did not know the identity of the person. Again, a lot of them just knew him as the scarred, right? Because of the scar on his face that we were talking about earlier. But it is this act of idiocy that actually helps them put a face and a name to the entity that they were chasing. And so that's what ultimately gets him busted. So again, brilliant. But even for the most brilliant people, they have their slip ups. Now, in restoring Victor Lustig's reputation as a brilliant con man, after talking about how he messed up so badly on this occasion, I'm going to throw it over to Sibel to tell you about the Al Capone story.
Yeah, this is just brilliant. So at the beginning of the Great Depression, Victor comes up with the simplest con in the world.
Right.
He approaches Al Capone and he tells Al Capone, here's this brilliant idea. I need $50,000. Al Capone gives him $50,000. Victor puts it all in a safe for about 2 months. 2 months later, he takes those $50K, comes back to Al and says, Mr. Capone, things didn't work out. I apologize.
Right.
my partners and my plan fell through.
Right.
Here's all your money back.
Right.
I apologize. Things didn't work out. And he said, and Al was like, okay, well, thank you for bringing the money back. Appreciate you being honest. And Victor says, I wonder if you wouldn't mind, covering me for $5,000 or so, just because I was expecting a payout and, things were
Right.
tight.
Right.
And Al, thinking he's dealing with an honest man, had no
Right.
issue with giving
Right.
Victor Lustig a little $5,000 just to help him out.
Right. Right.
So all he
Brilliant.
did was just take the money.
He just held on to the money from a dangerous man, put it away for 2 months, came back, gave him back the money, and said, "Hey,
and
partner."
just said, "Hey, would you mind
Yeah.
Would you mind giving me $5,000 just to
Right.
cover me for a bit?"
Right.
And Al was like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah, because by that time you
and he
formed a
got
sense
away with it.
of camaraderie with this guy. It's like, oh, we both didn't get the outcome we were looking for. You suffered as
And
much
Al
as I
thought
did.
he was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this guy is
Yeah.
this guy's an honorable guy,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
like him."
Right. Right.
It
Right.
was
Yeah,
such a simple
It's really
con.
why complicate things, man? Why complicate things? Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I know.
Perfect.
Baby, I've got this plan, and I just need $15,000.
Not on your life. Not on your life, you don't.
Damn it. Damn it.
Now let's talk about the 10 commandments, because after that we're going to go on a break, and then we're going to tell you, he eventually goes to prison on the rock,
Oh, yes.
Alcatraz, and some sad stuff happens. So let's talk about the
May
10
I?
commandments. So for the 10 commandments, sorry, you want to take the 10 commandments?
I'd be happy to take the first few.
All right, go for it.
Yeah. So Count Victor Lustig literally wrote what he called the 10 Commandments for conmen,
For a con man,
and they are written
for only
as follows.
$9.99.
Be a patient listener. It is this, not fast talking, that gets a conman his coups. Number 2, never look bored. Number 3, wait for the other person to reveal any political opinions, then agree with them. Number 4, let the other person reveal religious views, then have the same ones. Number 5, hint at sex talk, but don't follow it up unless the other person shows a strong interest.
Ooh, I got to do something now.
Number 6. Never discuss illness unless some special concern is shown. Number 7. Never pry into a person's personal circumstances. They'll tell you all, eventually. 8. Never boast. Just let your importance be quietly obvious. 9. Never be untidy. 10. Never get drunk.
Yeah, simple enough. I mean, you can see the scenarios in which each of those would be actually pretty good pieces of advice. Because if you're too drunk and you start to spill the secrets of your con to your mark, right? I mean, that's problematic. So yeah, you probably want to lay off the booze there.
A little bit.
A little bit. But yeah, no, brilliant stuff. So, you know what? Let's go on a quick break, and then we will be back to tell you about the untimely, sad demise of Count Victor Lustig. Don't go nowhere.
See y'all
We'll be right back.
soon.
And we are back, and wah wah.
Hello,
This
hello.
part is not very great because, it's the classic tale of the boy who cried wolf, and it's sad. It's sad.
I do get to do some fun voices, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, but this part, I don't know. It's just, it's sad. So, okay, let's get into it. So, eventually, oh, right, I almost forgot. So he gets caught, but it would have been a travesty to not tell you how he gets caught. So one afternoon / evening, he jumps into a car. In he jumps into a car, and two federal agents that had been chasing him all over the country spot him and jump into their own car, and they start to give chase. And they chase and chase
in Pittsburgh.
And they chase and chase.
Oh, okay. We should catch up the listeners. Remember when we said that he jumped out of the cell in New York a day before his trial?
Right.
He then was running around, and they were trying to catch him.
Right.
So we're talking about a month afterwards in Pittsburgh.
Right.
These federal agents see him, and that's where Bibi's picking up.
Right.
Bibi, please continue.
Thank you. So
Get your Fast and Furious 3D goggles on because the chase is on. Car chase, block after block, taking dangerous corners. Screeching, everything. Broken glass, dented fenders, all that stuff.
Exactly. And so, these guys. You know what? You're right. That's probably how the car sounded back then. But no Teslas around at that point. But they eventually realized this dude is not gonna stop. And so what they did, they had to ram his car to a halt. That is crazy. And the most classic of things. So they ram his car to a halt. The car can't move anymore. And they open up the back doors. And there is Victor Lustig sitting there calm as a cucumber. And he just looks up at them and says,
"Well, boys, here I am."
What? What?
Well, boys, here I am.
Well, boys, here I am.
What? What? Oh my goodness, Sibel, is that not the coolest thing ever?
This guy, look.
How do you act like the whole car chase didn't just happen? How do you act like the whole thing? It's like,
cool guys don't look at explosions, Bibi.
What? They walk away from them in slow-mo. That's true. That should be on a t-shirt, front and back. Yeah. Yeah. That is ridiculously cool. And then when he was in court for his sentencing, one of the federal agents looked at him and said,
Count, you're the smoothest guy I ever met.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You're the smoothest con man.
You're the smoothest con man. It's like, what? He had their respect, right? They obviously he was a bad dude. They wanted him behind bars, but still it was like, I doff my hat, sir, because you are a class act. It's ridiculous. So, anyway, he gets caught.
As far as we read, he was conning, but he was
charming. He was never mean with his thing, right? He was not
there was no violence. Right, no violence.
Exactly.
No one was actually being hurt,
Except, of course, for the American economy.
Yeah, but money's made up. So.
Hey. Tell that to the barista next time you go in for your coffee. It's like, sir, that will be $5.29.
Don't disturb me. Money is made up.
Don't you know? Money is made up. Right? But anyway, he gets caught. He gets sent to Alcatraz. And right from the beginning, he gets an icy welcome.
Alcatraz. If anyone has seen that amazing movie with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, my goodness.
How dare you?
Oh, my goodness.
How dare you?
Now, you use the words amazing movie and Nicolas Cage in the same sentence. How dare you?
The one true God, Nicolas Cage? One true God.
How dare you?
Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery
in
the movie The Rock, where Sean Connery goes, "Welcome to The Rock."
You're going to go off on a tangent now, aren't you?
No, I'm just, every time we mention Alcatraz, I'm just going to say, welcome.
We don't have time for this. The people are here to listen to the story about Victor Lustig. Come on. Come on. Anyway, yes, he goes to the Rock and he gets an icy welcome because they hose him down immediately with ice cold seawater, which honestly, man, come on, man, that's just uncalled for, right?
By the way, just in case, sorry, it just occurred to me that maybe some listeners don't know what Alcatraz is. Maybe
it is a maximum security prison on an island that is surrounded.
Just off of San Francisco.
Right.
Just off San Francisco.
Surrounded by treacherous hotels. So good luck to you trying to escape. Anyway, so, they hose him down and they perform the most invasive cavity searches because they're like, look, this dude has been known to escape, so we're not going to take any chances.
Yeah, I mean, his success bit him in the ass there.
Yeah, so, more important, more pun intended. So they then take the most unnecessary step, and there's doing your job, and there's just being mean-spirited, because they then proceed to walk him down the main corridor of the prison, completely naked, right?
Also, apparently they call that main corridor Broadway,
right?
And apparently, right. I think this was a common occurrence because all the inmates would jeer and clap. And
but
stuff,
it's just inhumane. Like, what part of the punishment makes that necessary? Like, what part of it's like
what part of prisons is humane?
Fair enough. But I mean, come on, it's like you have to have a particular imagination for cruelty to even come up with these things, right? Just stripping someone of their entire dignity. So anyway, and
the thing I really dislike about this is this man was not a violent.
He was not a violent offender, right.
Just,
and this was a man who, from all accounts, was not the talkative. His thing was quiet dignity. His entire cons depended on him being quite a dignified man. So by stripping him and walking him down that walk of shame, they were essentially you know what I mean? Like, it must have been particularly painful for him to be so dehumanized, to that point. But anyway, so one might say that it was this initial ice cold hosing down where he started to deteriorate, because he started to complain of ill health pretty much from the beginning. And they, of course, thought that he was making it up in an attempt to be transferred and make good on an escape plan. Right. And it said that he tried over and over and over again
to escape from the rock.
To get dude, we're so close to the end here. Can you stay with me for 5 more minutes?
I'm trying. But I can't help but remember that Sean Connery escaped.
My goodness.
From the rock.
Just all I ask is 5 more minutes from you, and we'll be done, right? So
touchy.
Right. So it says, by December 7, 1946, Lustig had made a staggering 1,192 medical requests and filled 507 prescriptions, and nobody believed him. Eventually,
the thing that really hurts is I don't know about you, but I'm really sensitive to cold personally.
Right.
So I need to be in a warm environment. Right. I don't even do and I can't imagine that they were giving him flares to wear. No. They probably just had him in his in the overall,
in the flimsy overalls. Exactly.
Yeah. So he was. Oh God, I can't imagine.
Horrible conditions. And so it says here in the Smithsonian Magazine, it says the prison guards believed he was faking, that his illness was part of an escape plan. They even found torn bed sheets in his cell, signs of his expert rope making.
Which again, maybe he was, but
maybe because they weren't listening to him. He was trying to get out and save himself. Exactly.
He was trying to survive. Yeah.
Exactly. So going back to the article, it says, according to medical reports, Lustig was inclined to magnify physical complaints and constantly complaining of real and imaginary ills. Right? He was eventually transferred to a secure medical facility in Springfield, Missouri, where doctors soon realized he was not faking. There, he died from complications arising from, of course, pneumonia. Right? So, I mean,
and he died. I mean, by the time they got him there, he died within 2 days.
Yeah, right? I mean, he was a goner.
It's just so sad. And by the way, I looked up how far Springfield, Missouri is. The fact that San Francisco
was right there.
Jeez. they sent him to a whole other state because that was the only place that had a prison hospital. They couldn't just take him to a hospital.
And it wasn't like this dude was a violent, again, he was not a violent criminal. You could just have kept him in chains and done the thing. You could have, there were so many other ways to handle this, but no. So yeah, man, he died. And again, this is a case of someone who was such a good con man that, you know, nobody believed him even when he was telling the truth. And that, my friends, is the end of the tale of a certain Victor.
Count Victor Lustig.
Count
and
Victor Lustig.
You know, even though he died in Missouri, I would say he never truly escaped from the rock. Right.
But one last con on his death certificate for his occupation. What was written was apprentice salesman. Right? Again, one more disguise for the road, right? One last disguise for the road. It's like, no, I am just an apprentice salesman.
I think they just didn't know who he was.
Yeah, of course. I was just looking for a sort of befitting, because that he would have appreciated one last con anyway, right?
Yeah,
so,
we don't.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the story, man. Pretty fun story for the most part, but the end was, what a
life. Yeah. Sold the Eiffel Tower twice. Successfully conned Capone.
Right. Conned a Texas sheriff. Almost sunk the U.S. economy.
Called the smoothest con man by the Secret Service.
Respected by both peers and adversaries. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't respect you. As your greatest friend, Sibel, I don't respect you.
You're my only friend.
As your only friend, I don't respect you.
I have no other friends.
And all your friends all over the world listening to this are now collectively heartbroken to hear you say that. But yeah. Anyway.
I love all of you.
I love... Girl, don't pay me no mind, girl. Don't pay me no mind. I just say these things sometimes, girl. Right? Man. Anyway, thank you for joining us for yet another episode. We have had a lot of fun bringing this one to you, man. We really, really enjoyed it, and we hope that you enjoyed it too. And on that note,
so much, y'all.
And on that note, we are signing off for this episode. Please find and subscribe to this podcast everywhere you find podcasts. That is Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever, iHeartRadio, wherever pods are cast, you will find Hairbrain Schemes. Also, find us on the social media. Instagram is Hairbrain Schemes Pod.
Instagram.
Yes, we are there. Send us your DMs of, stories that you think we might want to slide into those DMs. So just send us stories that you think we might want to discuss and, make into an episode of the pod. And of course, we will give you your attribution. We will make it known to the world that this story was recommended by insert your handle here, right? So we will do that. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for all the love. Anything else to add, Sibel, other than the fact that we will be back next Friday?
Get your shots, wear your masks, take care of each other.
That is pretty solid advice. That was a little more profound than I would have thought you were capable of. But yes,
be kind to each other, people.
Wow, I feel attacked. Are you saying I'm not kind to you?
No, I'm just saying in general.
In general.
Society.
Yeah, of course. We could use some more kindness for sure. Thank you. Take care. Have fun. Bye. See you next week. Bye.